Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Happy Saturday, everyone, and welcome inside The Lock Shop one more time, brought to you by our wonderful partners over at Coolbet. If you've not yet signed up for an account, do it today. Coolbet.com. And just enter the code LOCKSHOP when you sign up. You get a 100% deposit bonus on initial deposit up to $200. We are back with our final piece of content prior to Week 14 Sunday action in the National Football League. And boy, speaking of football, another stunner at the World Cup just moments ago, Huss.
My God. For all the people that were shitting on Canada's performance at the World Cup, does it make you feel better now that Morocco and Croatia are both in the Final Four?
It's crazy.
Semifinal? Yeah, it was. That's a massive upset. And listen, I was having PTSD to the intimidation levels of being in that stadium for the Morocco-Canada game last week before we left. I can't even describe to you the intensity and the volume of the Arabian fans in particular, and this Morocco crew that is there. They literally are playing for an entire nation. I don't know if you've seen some of the scenes in Morocco post wins throughout this. It's just stunning. And tell you what, they're going to be a tough out. They play really tough defense. They somehow manufacture a goal here and there, and as we've seen so far, the margin between winning and losing at this elite level is so close, and often it come down to a penalty kick hitting the goalie's finger or hitting the post right now. So I'm fired up. I'm going to be heading out to watch this England-France game this afternoon. I still haven't actually decided which way I'm going to bet it. This has been maybe the toughest game of the
That's a tough one, isn't it?
It was much
I think I'd side with Mbappe, but
yeah. It was much easier yesterday just cheering for goals for our. By the way, I once again, I've got to give Coolbet credit. For the second time in the week, we've had a little bit of controversy with an exclusive that we put together. I mean, they came through last week for the Lock Shop Partner Parlay when we had the Commanders tie on it. And yesterday, the prop was for all four teams to score. Now, traditionally in soccer betting, that's 90 minutes. And the chances of a team being in a 0-0 tie at the end of regulation and then having them both score, incredibly low. But that's exactly what happened. And then, of course, Netherlands comes back and scores late. So it cashed. I'm not sure a lot of other books would have given us the money for that.
That is nice.
That did again. So, Listen, there's a reason why we enjoy working with the folks there so much. They are transparent. And when in doubt, they side with the better, and we've had two examples of that in the last 6 days. So,
and speaking of exclusives, our Partner Parlay has been up since yesterday, and you can go and snag that right now. It's Tennessee -2.5, Pittsburgh on the money line, and Seattle on the money line, and it's paying 4-1. It's plus 400. So go find that in the Coolbet exclusive section right now if you're getting ready to lay out those wagers for the weekend. You love that?
I love the Partner Parlay this week. I had a good feeling last week, and I'm not sure what our total record is overall, but I guarantee you, if you just put the same unit on the Partner Parlay each and every week, you'd be up big time. So let's try and do it again in a nice little 4-1, and who knows, maybe we can even pop a few extras with some other parlays we're going to throw out in this episode.
If you are watching on the live Twitter feed right now, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to get in the mix for $1,000 cash, just go on Twitter to @LockShopBets, retweet the tweet that's pinned there, subscribe to the channel, and when we hit 1,000 members, we're giving away $1,000 cash to one of our first 1,000 subscribers over on YouTube. Chaz is watching on YouTube today and says, "Morning, boys. Pure banger parlays coming up." And Chaz knows what's up. He knows what's up. Let's roll. We got some touchdown scores we're going to get to a little bit later on. By the way, Huss, I got a touchdown score today, plus 550. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
It's good. All right, you got 3 parlays, buddy. Lay it out for me. What do you got here?
I do. I've got a couple 3-gamers, and this is sort of the zone we've kind of locked in at and had some real good success with. 3 games in and around 5 to 6 to 1. I'm going to start off with a couple of games that I really do like from my best bets, starting off with San Francisco at -3. Kind of broke that down yesterday. I mean, I think that this is going to be a long, long day for Tom Brady. The San Francisco defense is playing at an absolutely elite level right now. And I really do think that they're going to give enough backing for Brock Purdy to, feel confident, take care of the football, don't turn it over. Might be Robbie Gould kicking a bunch of field goals. The bottom line is I think that the Buccaneers are going to have a hell of a time even moving the football, never mind scoring points right now. So give me the Niners at home laying 3. And as I said, if the quarterback situation was different, we're probably talking about a 6 or a 7-point spread. Love the 3 on the Niners and Miami as well. This number's gone down a little bit, and to get it at 3, I thought was great timing both yesterday and today. I'm not sure if that's moved up. I expect it to be 3.5 by the time they kick off here. And it's still 3 right now. So anyways, good time to get in. So lay 3 with the Dolphins and the Niners. And I'm going to get a piece of the Minnesota Vikings. I know we've talked a lot about this game. It's a fascinating game on both sides. There is tons of money on Detroit. The Sharps are on Detroit. Everyone seems to be on Detroit. I'm going to back the Vikings. And the funny thing about this is I can almost guarantee this is going to be a close game. I really expect it to be. We're actually getting points with Minnesota. They could technically lose by 1, and that wouldn't shock me either.
It's going to be a close game.
And win this bet. So as opposed to taking the money line, we're going to take 1.5. And it gets it up close to 6-1 at plus 578. Moving down a couple of the other picks that I've
just 1 second. I want to lay this out quickly. With your record so far in the NFL this year, you're the sharp now, Huss. I'll just say that. And then I just quickly on that one game, because I don't have it anywhere, and I do want to come back around to it, because I wanted your thoughts on it. San Francisco Bucks, where are you at on that 37 number?
Wow, that is just such a low
number. Low, right? I want the under. I'm thinking under in that game, and I had it on my total parlay there, and I took it off because I'm like, so low. It's like 37's. That's a low number, right? Like,
well, and there's a couple 37s, and we'll get to the Pittsburgh
you got one,
number in a minute. Listen, I think that when in doubt of that, I think I'm still going under. I mean, listen, I could see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being held to single digits in this game. Hell, the New Orleans Saints, who are right there with Tampa and they got shut out 2 weeks ago in San Francisco. This is all about their defense right now. So, gun to my head, I won't be betting it, but I think if I had to, I probably would take the under 37, and I'll probably be looking for that field goal prop in this game as well, over 3.5.
I would throw it out there on some of these parlays. Tomorrow morning, you'll see more point total options, right? Like right now, you can move it like 1.5. By tomorrow morning, if you want to move it up 2.5, 3 points at cool bet, you'll be able to do that. So if you want to bump that up a little bit to maybe 39.5 tomorrow morning, that's something that you might be able to do then. It wasn't up this morning. We were looking at it. All right, Huss, continue on here.
Yeah, so the other one, that's a plus 578er. And then the other one, I'm taking one of our best bets. We both like the Jets plus 10. I've heard a lot of people kind of going the other way on Buffalo for a big week, but I just, between the loss of Von Miller and the way the Jets defense has played so far this season, listen, I can't do anything but take the double-digit points. So they're putting it on there. Cleveland right now is a 5.5-point favorite, I believe. For the parlay, I got it to 6, and to be honest, it's not much of a difference. If you're betting this game singly, I mean, the difference between 5.5 to 6, I think, is significant for the better. And the difference is only minus 110 to minus 114. So through Cleveland plus 6 on this ticket, along with the Pittsburgh money line, and we get to plus 530. And I was kicking around with some totals, and I just basically settled on 2 games that I like. This Minnesota-Detroit game has actually come down a couple points. I think this is the time to get in on this. I still think that there's going to be a ton of points both ways in this game. But it was 54, 53.5. Now it's 51.5. Now's the time I feel good about getting in on the over on this one. So we're in on that. And then the other 37 game that we've talked about is this Pittsburgh-Baltimore game. And I'm going to take the over in this game. I
saw this. This is intriguing.
I think, listen, as I said, I think I'm a little higher on the Pittsburgh offense than a lot of other people are. And I've seen enough of the Ravens defense so far this year that hasn't impressed me. I think Pittsburgh will be able to score points. Now, this is all going to come down to what Baltimore is able to do. I mean, Pittsburgh's not going to cover this one over, but listen, there's a lot of people that think Huntley isn't that big of a step back from Lamar Jackson, the way he's played over the course of the last week. And listen, defense will be big. You could always have special teams or defensive touchdowns will help you get that number up, or at least turnovers that turn possessions into short fields. So I'm going to take the over 37 in this one. Just the two games together on the totals, the two overs, plus 264.
I like it. I got Detroit, Minnesota on one. I got a 3-game point total parlay. So Detroit, Minnesota, I'm with you on that one. Over 51.5 points are going to be scored in that game. And that's what happens in Detroit Lions game. So, and Kirk Cousins has actually done well against Detroit. And I mentioned yesterday, Jared Goff at home has been sensational. The Lions offense with Amon St. Brown in there is 7th in the league. And Jared Goff, as much as you might not want to believe it, feasts against zone defense. And that's what the Vikings play quite a bit of. So I'll be very surprised if that one doesn't hit the over. I'd said yesterday as well, I don't know how Houston scores against Dallas. So this is a very low number, but I'm still on it. Houston under 13.5 points against the Dallas Cowboys. And then I would like the Chiefs fans' perspective on this one. I'm going to take Kansas City and Denver under 45.5. These three games combined, so the Detroit mini over, KC Denver under, and Houston under 13.5 will pay plus 512. So a pretty juicy number for 3 games there, Huss. Denver plays a steady diet of unders. They've only played one over so far this year. So the real question here is, can Kansas City offense do enough to get it done against that Denver defense to hit the over 45.5? And I think I might have bumped this up 1.5 points. I think it's the actual line is a little bit lower, but where do you come out on that one?
Well, listen, I think I would normally lean on the under. It's 44.5 is what the number is.
Yeah, so I moved it up a point
on this. The one thing that concerns me about this is that we've seen Mahomes and the Chiefs step up. Listen, they win these games. Mahomes never loses on the road in the division. We're expecting them to win, but Denver's defense has been really good this year. The only reason they haven't been getting embarrassed week in and week out is the fact that their defense has stayed in. Russell Wilson in that offense is at the freaking bottom of the league.
Yeah, it's one of the best defenses in the entire league.
They're always due to maybe jump up, but I see Cortland Sutton's doubtful right now. I don't have a big hope on that. The one thing that I will say about the Chiefs, coming off that loss, I have a feeling there may be a little bit more jump in that offense to really stick it to Denver and kind of make a big statement game. And they did this earlier this season, if you recall that game against the Niners. And the Niners have this great top-ranked defense. Mahomes went into San Francisco and put up, 44 in that game? So there is the potential that they could really work it. But
it's always scary betting under against Mahomes, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I've stayed away from this game. I wouldn't at all be surprised if the Broncos actually cover this number and it does come in on the under. But I do think the Chiefs get the win. But yeah, given the one side or the other, especially with the extra point at 45.5, I think I will take the under, and we'll see if Russell can even get them into the end zone this weekend. But just the fact that they got Mahomes flexed out of prime time tells all you need to know about the state of the Denver Broncos right now.
In the last 8 weeks, the Broncos have allowed more than 17 points, right? Yeah, more than 17 points twice. And they still can't win football games. So Mahomes could put up 30. My real concern is if the Broncos can get 15. And I don't know if they can, right? So that's why I'm sitting here at 45.5. So I'll take the other one, that one. And the other one's just a 4-game straight-up moneyline parlay. Actually gets the plus 425, which I was pretty happy with. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow finally beating the Cleveland Browns. He'll get that job done in Cincinnati. I am on my Detroit Lions on the money line against the Vikings. And then Philly money line. Saquon a little banged up. That line's now moved to 7.5 over at Cool Bet. And then I do like Miami to get the job done against the Chargers. A big game for both of those teams, considering what they're both fighting for playoff positioning wise. But Cincinnati, Detroit, Philly, and Miami money line plus 425. So there's 5 parlays for you tomorrow in the National Football League. And let's slide over to our TD props. Huss, I love this Derrick Henry one. Usually a Henry TD is like minus 170, but you're sitting at minus 137. Come on.
Well, listen, people I think are totally overreacting to what's happened with the Titans in the last few weeks. And, Derrick Henry's had a couple of really low games. Guess what, folks? Take a look at the calendar. It's December. In December, Derrick Henry steps up and steamrolls teams. And to be honest, I think with Tannehill nicked up a little bit, I think Mike Vrabel knows that for them to be effective heading into the playoffs, They absolutely need to reestablish their running game. And with Treylon Burks probably out, I mean, their limited passing options, I think, are diminished. So it's going to be on the Titans to reestablish the running game. And listen, that is all about Derrick Henry. So minus 137, there's great value on this one. And it's funny, you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown at plus 138. I was just looking at that. I'm going, that is a great number considering his. But I'm going with the guy just below him on the cool bet list for touchdown scorers in that game, TJ Hawkinson at plus 175. And I always find the tight ends often have a good knack for a first touchdown. So I might put a little sprinkle on the 11-1 on the first touchdown as well. But TJ Hawkinson going back to Detroit, going to be tons of points, tons of passing. I have a feeling that he has a big role in this game. So loving him at plus 175. And I will absolutely ride with you on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Actually, I would like to know if we've got a number on multiple touchdowns for him, because that would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, I like that too. He's got 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games, targeted double-digit times the majority of his games right now. This should be a high-scoring game. Vikings pass defense is brutal. I would be surprised if the Lions score 3 or 4 touchdowns and one of them is not to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, Jared Goff has eyes for that dude inside the red zone. So plus 138, as soon as I saw it today, I was like, lock it in. Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown plus 138. And then the other guy has to be the longest shot we've had this year for a touchdown score. Plus 550, Boston Scott of the Philadelphia Eagles. And this came across I don't know if it was a podcast or some previews I was reading this week. Boston Scott has played the Giants 6 times in his career, and he has scored a touchdown in every single one of those games. He has 16 touchdowns in his career. 10 are against the Giants, which is just, it's insane. It's like the only team he scores against is the New York Giants. So how can you not get on it, considering he's always scored against them? Every game he's played against the Giants, this guy's had a touchdown. So it's a little bit of a longer shot, but the lock shop will be sprinkling Boston Scott at plus 550 this weekend.
I don't mind it. Philly often changes things up. You see Gainwell getting in there a little bit in the mix, and obviously Hurts and Miles Sanders. You can't count on heavy duty touches, but Boston Scott, and he is a little bowling ball too. I mean, you can definitely get him in there. By the way, one other number that I like, and it's actually gone down a little bit, over 5.5 touchdowns in that Minnesota-Detroit game as well. Minus 141 right now, but I think that I would almost take it at over 6.5 right now. I'm sure we'd be getting much money on that. And I will be waiting. You know, we've had so much success with the field goal primetime prop. I did squeeze one in last week on the Charger Raider game and cashed. I'm going to be looking to see what the lines are, but that Steelers-Ravens game has over field goals written all over it. And to be honest, that Niners-Buccaneers game as well. I'm not sure Buccaneers even get into the end zone. They'll take points where they can get. And I think Robbie Gould's going to have a busy day as well. So those numbers will be up tomorrow morning, probably plus money. Well, I guess the last one was plus 113. I would expect them to be in and around plus 120 if history tells us anything. Both of those games might be good to jump on the kicker prop that we love so much, over 3.5 field goals.
There you go. That's week 14, Props and Parlays Saturday here with the Lock Shop. Once again, if you're listening to the podcast or you're watching, subscribe to the YouTube channel at Lock Shop Bets on YouTube. Give us a sub over there, and when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're giving away $1,000 cash. Huss, best of luck with everything. The red hot Huss continues on Sunday. Let's go get it, buddy.
Well, let's hope so. And as I said, loving the Partner Parlay. Seahawks to win, Steelers to win, Tennessee to cover 2.5. It's plus 400 in the Cool Bet exclusives right now. Let's do it again, Dusty.
Talk to you Monday.